I think the intellectual revolution that's going on now to restore liberty in this country is well on its way, and there's no way they're going to stop the momentum that we have started.
So anyways, folks, this is my first show, Constitutional War, just like my website, just like some of the rallies that I put on. And in case you don't know, I know many of you in here do know me, my whole objective is to get people to work within the Republican Party to change it back to a strict constructionalist, constitutionalist avenue for smaller government. The party of Goldwater, Taft, yes, even Reagan, and now Ron Paul, Rand Paul, Jim DeMint, folks like that. So I understand that a lot of people don't want to do that. I would love for some of the anarcho-capitalist views to be implemented. I do believe that Jim DeMint, man, it's going to be hard for me not to laugh at some of the comments, I'm sure. I don't think Jim DeMint is a crack whore, though. I'll just put that out there, anybody in the chat. But I do not see any other avenue that is viable. The Libertarian Party, a lot of times it doesn't even seem like they want to win. The Democratic Party is completely and totally hopeless, and it is a two-party system that we're stuck in at the moment. So, in my opinion, going through this process that is very easy to do is the most expedient way to have change for smaller government. And yes, as guest commented down there in the chat, nullification. And I think that's great if you can do it through your local government, through your sheriff, through your city council, through your county, state, however you want to do it. I'm all for nullification. We are actually trying to bring Nullify Now here to North Carolina. We're about half the way there with the funds, and we should be doing that sometime in January. I'm all for every avenue that we can bring forth. Another very easy avenue is becoming a delegate, and that's what I'll talk about a lot on this show. I'll have guests up to tell you how they have done it, to tell you how they have. I also have guests that have come on here that have run and won races and how they were able to do that. I was spending some time just the other night, 2 nights ago, with Representative Glenn Bradley from North Carolina, who was endorsed by Ron Paul. And, you know, this is what we were talking about. Unfortunately, the YouTube video is just a little too new to play tonight. But that's what we talked about, was we got a new chairman. We're going to have a new chairman in North Carolina in 2013. And to elect a new chairman, what you do, well, this is what a new chairman will do, or the chairman that we've had, Robin Hayes, who really stuck it to us down in Tampa. The chairman of the GOP in our state and most other states, is one of their main functions is fundraising. But also what they do is they have a large amount of influence where those funds go. And those funds will go to the candidates that they support. Excuse me. Robin Hayes was a little more friendly than the guy that they're trying to push to replace him. He wants us Ron Paulers out of the GOP and to just go home and never be seen again. That is very problematic, because I am not completely on board with getting out of electoral politics, and electoral politics will become a lot more difficult in the state of North Carolina if Wayne King is able to replace Robin Hayes. So our discussion, my discussion with Glenn Bradley, was talking about how are we going to bring the Ron Paul people that, you know, all the great people that we've seen in Tampa, that we've seen at all the rallies and sign waves, and make sure that they are able to become delegates. It's a very simple process. A lot of you have done it. A lot of you haven't done it. It's depending on where you're at. In my state here in North Carolina, in Charlotte, it was as simple for me as just showing up, writing my name on a piece of paper. I had the option of giving a $10 donation if I wanted to, or $5 or whatever. And I gave him $5. I said, okay, whatever, I'm here. Here's $5. You guys got to, fund yourself somehow and try to be nice, try to build relationships, build friends, bring some of these folks that get called names such as neocons, which might be true, and teocons, which also might be true, our way. Because the fact of the matter is, a lot of Ron Paul supporters at one time were teocons or neocons or establishment or Obama supporters even. So we try to bring in these people instead of calling them names and build these relationships. In my opinion, that is the best way to have an actual change. So I went to my precinct meeting and gave them $5, wrote my name on a piece of paper, sat there and listened to a couple candidates tell me who they were, went home and waited for the district and county conventions, which I went to, and we were able to elect a good friend of mine, Matthew Ridenhour, who I'll be playing a video of here in a little bit, to the delegate position, an elected delegate for Ron Paul and going to Tampa. And he was a declared Ron Paul supporter. He actually founded the Charlotte Tea Party. He's a 10-year Marine Corps veteran. He's a former George W. Bush supporter and what some people might call a neocon. He's actually one of my best friends now, and he, when he made his endorsement of Ron Paul on Facebook, he said, the one thing that has held me back from endorsing Ron Paul is his foreign policy, but what we've been doing for the past 10 years hasn't exactly been working either, and I know where my guy stands, and it's more than just, policing the world that America needs to be doing. So he has come our way. He actually spoke at my End the Fed rally, and very good speech that I'll be playing here shortly. So, what can you do to get more people involved? I, for one, have set up a Facebook event or a group called North Carolina. Well, I won't give the name out because we are trying to keep it a little private, but it has to do with delegates for our state. So we find people, we recruit them, especially college campuses. You look on some of these groups, local groups, wherever you can find somebody in your state that has a picture with Ron Paul or a Ron Paul banner, or that likes a Ron Paul or a Judge Knapp or a Rand Paul thing on Facebook, and try to message them. Ask them, hey, did you go to the convention last year, and would you be willing to come this year? Last year, we had about 1,300 delegates at our convention in North Carolina. Only in the state of North Carolina, we were only able to muster up about 350 Ron Paul supporters that were willing to go to the convention. If we would have simply had another 600 to 700 Ron Paul supporters show up, we would have had all 13 at-large delegates voting for Ron Paul. We weren't able to do that. Robin Hayes was nice enough to allow us to get our proportion, which was 2 more delegates out of the at-large position, and my phone going off there a little, but we were able to do that. Glenn Bradley was one of those, Ken Nelson was the other. So looking into getting more supporters, that's one avenue. Obviously through YAL and other avenues. The End the Fed protest, when you're at your End the Fed protest, when you're at a Nullify lecture or whatever you're doing, go there, bring yourself a notebook, piece of paper. These young guys, a lot of them, don't know what to do. They're busy going to the bar and all that stuff that you do when you're 20 years old, and there's nothing wrong with that. Be young, man. Enjoy life. It's not a big bummer to become a delegate. It's only going to take up about 3 hours of your life to go to your precinct, your county, and your district convention. And then your state convention it's a 3-day ordeal. You don't really have to stay for the 3rd day because that's XCOM, Rules Committee, that's going to be making the decisions that weren't able to be finished up in the first 2 days. And that's another thing. We need to get these positions in XCOM so that we can be there making those decisions. We have some of those positions in North Carolina right now. So what you need to do is, if you don't already know how to do this, you can contact me. I'll actually put my Facebook up down here in the chat, and anybody who wants to friend me, I'm available. I'm out there. So here is your Facebook link, and you can get a hold of me. You can message me. I can put you into contact with, I'm in the South, so I know if you're in the South, I can put you in contact with somebody to help you understand what you need to do so that you can get involved in a very cheap way, excuse me, and make maximum amount of change for minimal amount of time. Now, this is not to say that you shouldn't do your nullify or what, a couple of the other things I've seen down here in the comments. I'm not telling you not to do that. What I am telling you is that sine waves and protests and rallies do very little when it comes to affecting change. They're good for rallying the troops, rallying the grassroots. They're good for getting the message out there. They're good for meeting new people and bringing them into the process. But as far as change, affecting change, elections matter. They do matter. Now, does that mean I'm saying that Mitt Romney and Barack Obama or even Gary Johnson are going to change very much? No, they're not. Sine waves matter. Sine waves are fun. They are very fun. But they do very little when it comes to actually changing the form of government that you have to live under. So, with that being said, I'm going to ask Fabian if I can have clip 1 ready to go as I introduce this clip. This is a local candidate from, he can't play videos. That's unfortunate. I'll give you those links. I'll post the link right down here in the chat, Johan. And while I'm getting that, this is a clip from a local little Tea Party meeting that they have every Monday here in Charlotte. And the guy's name is Jack Frosch. He's running against Congressman Mel Watt, who voted against Ron Paul's Audit the Fed bill. There it is, Johan. And I was able to catch up with him and got him on the record. You know, I said, look, I even told him before I asked him the question. I said, are you supporting the Audit the Fed? He says, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I said, cool, I'm going to ask you about it in your question and answer. I made him a campaign video. He's not a 100% Liberty guy, but I've got him on the record with Audit the Fed. That's better than not having him on the record with Audit the Fed. He actually also came to my End the Fed rally. Now he's starting to come our way. You get these people to come your way. You don't just yell at them, in my opinion. I'm not telling you what to do, but if that video works, Johan, go ahead and start playing it at any time. Yeah, Mel Watt just voted against the audit of the Federal Reserve. I'm wondering if you would want to audit it, and would you bring that up as a campaign issue against Mel Watt, being that it is very popular?
I would definitely be bringing that up as a campaign issue against Mel Watt. I think the bill that Ron Paul just got through the Congress is a great bill. In conjunction with my campaign promise of transparency, I think that auditing any of the federal agencies at some level or another should be a requirement of the federal government. Now, I understand there are some security issues in some of the departments that may make that a little bit difficult, but you need to have oversight, and Congress needs to step back up to their constitutional obligation of oversight, and that includes both the Department of the Treasury and the Fed, as well as the Department of Treasury.
So you would have voted for the audit?
I would have voted for the audit, yes.
And believe it or not, folks, I mean, a lot of these guys are, you know, they're coming our way. They're not going to come our way if we don't show them that we're, you know, they've put out a perception about this Ron Paul revolution that we're a bunch of, first of all, they say we're all a bunch of liberals. Then they say we're a bunch of drug addicts, and then they say we're a bunch of racists, and, you know, they can label you whatever they want to label you if you do not show up in person and show them that, hey, I'm just an average guy like you. And you might think, man, these Tea Party guys are probably so uptight, you just, I mean, how could I possibly have anything in common with them? You know, have a few drinks with them, and then you'll realize they're probably a lot less uptight than what you think. When I show up, most of them are anxious to talk to me. They're excited. They understand. They don't like Romney either. And it's a little harder to help them understand that Santorum isn't all that great, but it doesn't take that much time once you play some videos well, actually, Johan, if you do have that video at some point, you might want to play that. It's a pretty short video of Rick Santorum saying, thank God the Goldwater Republicans are being pushed out of the... yeah, this is not a video that I gave you, Johan. It's a video you had the other day that was great. With Santorum saying, let's get these Goldwater people out of the Republican Party, you know. So, Santorum will be in Charlotte tomorrow. And I confronted Mr. John Boehner about the rules change just a couple days ago, and hopefully I will be confronting Rick Santorum tomorrow. It's a little early, so I might not make it. 7:30 in the morning's top of the morning for this guy, for sure. That's the next video, Johan. That's Matthew Ridenhour. And Matthew, I'll introduce this video. Matthew is Ron Paul delegate, like I'd mentioned earlier. He was a George Bush supporter, and he was, you know, I seen the first Tea Party speech that he gave, and I was like, man, this is great. First Tea Parties I went to, I expected everybody there to be Ron Paul supporters. Or not everybody, but a lot of them. And I thought for sure this guy, what he's talking about economic policy, how he is friends with my friend Adam Love, who runs Campaign for Liberty for the state of North Carolina. I thought, this guy this is awesome. We've got this tall, handsome guy. He's a Ron Paul supporter. Let's run with it. And then come to find out he's not exactly a Ron Paul supporter. Well, over time we have changed that. He is now a Ron Paul supporter, and in the beginning of the video he actually picks up a pack of cheese crackers that were on the stage that was left over from our skit that we did at our End the Fed rally, where we had my friend Mike play Seth Bernanke, Ben Bernanke's brother, and it's a pretty hilarious video. And you know, I don't have that one queued up to play. Maybe I can play that after the show's over. But if we can play that video I just posted, Johan, this is Matthew Ridenhour at my End the Fed rally here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Now that's what I'm talking about, man. That is what we need to change this country. We need young people to be willing to throw on a suit. As most of you know, I like to wear camos, and I'm a construction worker, so I'm not always dressed that nice. But if we're going to make change and make these relationships, as my friend Craig said, you've got to be able to be articulate. You've got to be able to work within the system. Like it or not, it's a big system, and you're going to have to deal with it. And working within the system is a good friend of mine who has served our country as a Marine. He's running for... now I'm going to mess it up because we wrote it wrong on the paper. County Commissioner, not City Council, Matthew Ridenhour.
Thank you. I didn't get a chance to get lunch, so just pardon me while I get these cheese and crackers real quick. Hey, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. I'm wearing a Florida State Seminole shirt, and I notice I'm the only one. Anybody here from Clemson? All right, good. So it's a friendly crowd still. All right. Thank you, Chuck, for inviting me out here to speak this afternoon. I'm going to keep it quick today because, honestly, you just heard from an incredible speaker, an incredible young man and friend of mine, Craig Dixon, and next up is Adam Love. So I'm sandwiched between two incredible speakers, so I'll keep this brief. I'll keep it brief. I want to tell you just a little story about how I got here and what brought me here, because I think that what got me here will get a lot of other people here as well, and not just here literally, but supporting ending the Federal Reserve, supporting liberty candidates and the liberty movement. It wasn't that many years ago that I was a Republican, dyed-in-the-wool Republican, still am a Republican. but I was all for President Bush, and I was all for Bush getting reelected. And then Senator McCain came along, and I thought, well, it's not really my favorite, but, you know, hey, I'm going to support him. But then about 2009, when I was running for city council, I met a friend of mine, Adam Love. And I think Adam was probably the first person I spoke to within the Liberty Movement that really kind of started showing me the light. I don't even know if he intended to. Actually, he's pretty intelligent, so he probably did, and I just was too stupid to realize it. That's right. That's right. Dance. So Adam started telling, you know, he put me on the Campaign for Liberty email list, and he would shoot me things because I was, you know, heading up the Tea Party around here, and I was trying to pass the word along. So I started getting a little bit more information about Campaign for Liberty, and because of that, I got more information about Ron Paul. Now, I had heard about Ron Paul for a long time. As a Republican, of course, I'm sure I've heard about him. And, yeah, no offense, I thought he was just, you know, good Republican, great ideas, but, yeah, they do things a little differently in Texas. But then, over time, I started listening to the message more and listening less to all the static that surrounds the Ron Paul message. And I started really listening in and keying in on what he was talking about when he talks about monetary policy or domestic policy and foreign policies as well. And slowly but surely, in the back of my mind, it started working. It started creeping into my thought processes. So I started talking to people about Ron Paul, and I found a lot of other people thought that, you know, hey, he's got good ideas, but. And you hear that all the time. He's got good ideas, but, right? There's always the but they throw out there. Well, then let's now fast forward to the beginning of this year, the campaign primary season, and I started doing my due diligence and researching all the candidates that were out there running for president on the Republican ticket. And I thought, okay, let's just look into this Ron Paul a little more closely and see what he's about. And I don't know really exactly what did it, but all I know is I was presented the red and blue pill, and I took the red pill. And and the world's never been the same since, truly. And I thought, you know what, and as soon as I realized it, I posted up on my Facebook wall. I said, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I said, after a lot of thought and deliberation and consideration, I'm supporting Ron Paul for president in 2012. And for a lot of people, that was a very popular decision. A lot of folks here, obviously. For a lot of people, that wasn't a popular decision. Well, what about Gingrich? What about Santorum? What about Mitt Romney? Whoever. And they just, you know, I realized that they hadn't taken that red pill. They hadn't really quite seen the world the way that we all see it. The point of all that is I'm standing here today. I was a Ron Paul delegate down to Tampa, and I'm still supporting him. And I think that, I think the principles that he's putting forward and the principles in the Liberty Movement is what we need in our country. And I know that a lot of other people out there feel the same way as we do, but they listen too much to the static and not enough to the message. So my encouragement to everyone today is don't get discouraged by those folks who take a little time. It took me 34 years. All right? It takes time. Some of us aren't as quick. But don't give up hope and don't despair. You know, as Craig was saying, it takes time. It takes talking with people. It takes sharing the message with them. Don't browbeat them. And I know a few people in here, I've told you, I said, hey, just don't browbeat people, because when you do that, then they start hearing static and they start losing focus of the message. And the message is really what we need to be getting out there. And the more we do that, the more we're going to get the establishment types on board, the more we're going to get people who are those more conservative Democrats on board, the libertarians, and we're going to get all those people focused around the liberty message, and that's how we're going to transform this country. And now someone might say, well, transform the country. That's what President Obama said back in 2008. You know what? You're darn right. I do want to fundamentally transform our country. Because when I look around our country and I see this monstrosity of a building standing before us, insulting our liberties and insulting our freedoms, I say, you know what? I do want to change that. When I see a foreign policy that continues to get us involved in one debacle after another around the world, I say, you know what? I do want to change that.
Yeah, that's right.
When I see the powers that be wanting to redistribute wealth, and redistribution isn't just simply taking from the wealthy and giving it to the poor, it's taking from the masses to benefit the few. Yeah. I say, you're right. I do want to fundamentally transform that. I want to take our country back a few hundred years to that radical document called the United States Constitution, from which the best nation on earth was founded. And it's going to take some time. Not everyone's going to get on board with this message by November. Not everyone's going to get on board with this net message by 2016. But folks, don't give up. Don't ever give up. Winston Churchill, we all know that quote, never, never, never give up. We've got to keep spreading that message. One person at a time, one neighbor at a time. Invite them to a Campaign for Liberty meeting. Invite them to the next time you guys have a meetup group for End the Fed or Audit the Fed or any groups you guys have out there. Invite someone along. If you bring one person, that's one more person, and that message is going to expand exponentially. So friends, thank you for your time. Don't give up. If I can get on board, we can get a hell of a lot more people on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, so there you go, folks. This is what I'm talking about. This is a living, breathing example of what you can do. This is a 10-year Marine Corps veteran. Okay, this guy had, I believe, somewhere around the lines of 60 people underneath his command by the time that he left the Marines just about 2 or 3 months ago. And he wasn't able to speak at my Conservatives and Libertarians Against Unconstitutional War rally that we had Jordan Page down here for, and Gary Johnson spoke at. I've seen some Gary Johnson quotes down there. I'm not a hardcore Gary Johnson supporter. I support his efforts. But, you know, Gary spoke, and, you know, Matthew wasn't able to speak because he was still in the Marines, and he was going to, and then was advised that it probably wasn't the best idea. So, you know, this is pretty much what my show is trying to bring forth. You know, I want to show people what I have seen. Because 4 years ago, when I found out that Matthew wasn't supporting Ron Paul, I actually wasn't that nice to him. Got into quite a bit of a little argument there, and I think at one point I told him he was something like, I don't know, a neocon baby-killing piece of shit. Needless to say, that didn't go over very well, and we ended up not being friends on Facebook for about a year. Him and my wife were still friends, and you know, as you go along and you realize that things just aren't going to, you know, they're not just going to click like snapping your fingers. It'd be nice if they did, but the fact of the matter is this revolution is not going to take, you know, it's been 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, since the Ron Paul thing really kicked into high gear. Before Ron Paul, I said, forget it. Government, electoral politics, it's all rigged, it's all a joke. Just drop out of society. Have a revolution, a bloody revolution, whatever. 4 kids later, you know, 2 campaigns and 4 kids later, that idea of the bloody revolution is not so attractive to me. And food prices are important. Foreign policy is important. What happened today at the New York Fed with the false flag event that Ron Paul was predicting, and came to pass as the FBI set up a sting to make the End the Fed folks look like terrorists. I'll show you my shirt. My name's Chuck Suter, and I want to end the Fed. And I am not a terrorist, and I am not a violent person. My phone is going off over here still. Setting up some more things. Another thing you might want to be setting up is I have a candidate that we're going to be bringing into Charlotte to look at running him for Senate in 2014. Can't name drop him yet because he would have to file with the FEC if he was going to do that. My phone is about to take a trip over to the couch. So, back to the conversation at hand. People like Matthew are out there. Not every one of them are going to come your way. And they're sure as heck not going to come your way if you call them neocon, baby-killing, blah, blah, blah. I don't need parts that badly. I'm not that sick, as George Carlin would say. Reach out to these folks. Show them that, hey, we're not the crazy liberal drug addict lunatics that we've been portrayed as. Like it or not, that's what you've been portrayed as. And if you haven't reached out to them, and nobody else has reached out to these Tea Party folks in your community, in your city, in your state, then you've got to deal with that, because that's the way you're looked at, and you wonder why they don't come out and vote for Ron Paul. Well, a lot of them will tell you, because of his supporters. They are what, they're a bunch of blame America first, hate the military, hate guns, they're a bunch of tree huggers, whatever they can say, racist, and you've got to change that perception. I'm trying to do what I can to change that perception, and look, you don't have to. I might have said that just a little bit wrong, saying that you have to change that perception, because you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do a daggum thing that I'm telling you to do. You can sit back, you can have a good time, you can, tune in or whatever it is, drop out, Free State Project, and roll with the punches, my friends. But I would suggest to you that the changes that we are looking for through Ron Paul are taking place. Rand Paul has just made a post today about Kentucky, and about how Kentucky is, he's trying to make sure that Kentucky turns into the #1 producer of hemp in the country, and how hemp is going to be able to help this nation get out of the depression that we're in. It's really, really bad, folks. And I know a lot of people say, look, there's not enough time for this to take place. We just need to hit the streets. Hitting the streets is great. Sign waves are fun. Rallies are fun. If you want to really make change, find a candidate you can support and go knock doors. Get FaceTime with people. Go up to their house, knock on their door. Hi, how you doing? I'm Chuck Suter, and I might like to party and get wild, but for right now, I'm Mr. Nice Guy and happy and all peppy, and let me talk to you a little bit about some of these issues. Can I get you on board with the United States Constitution with small government? And you'll find out that there's a lot of people that you can get on board with that. So if there's any questions down there, I'll take a few questions before I play my last video and get in for what I've just talked about. This is the first part of the show. Don't say limited government and constitution. They are dirty words. Yeah, well, pretty soon they'll probably be trying to use that as terrorist lingo. The Constitution, We've all seen the videos played of the some of the looking at your comments down here. Some of the police officers, I believe it was Police Academy out in Kansas City, that the sergeant is telling them, who are the first terrorists in this country? Somebody raises their hand. The Founding Fathers were the first terrorists. That's right. They were horrible. They were bad. It's really mentally unstable. And take your guns. Well, some of the people in control are mentally unstable. Okay, so no questions about what we have talked about yet? If not, then I will move into the false flag attack. Yes, I'm not seeing any, so I'm going to get going into the one at the Fed today. Yes, the one at the Fed today. Now, the false flag attack at the Federal Reserve today in New York City. What happened? The FBI set up a sting, and they found a 21-year-old man that was affiliated with Al-Qaeda somehow. I think he's from Bahrain. And they wanted to set him up with a bomb, kind of like a Timothy McVeigh type thing. Bangladesh, is that where he's from? Okay, from Bangladesh. Still a fresh story for me. So, from Bangladesh, and we all know how we're terrified of the people from Bangladesh coming and taking over our country, and how they started the End the Fed movement over there in Bangladesh. Well, that's exactly what they're trying to portray on the news, and whether they push it very hard or not, the message has already been sent. Terrorists want to attack the Federal Reserve. So, America, you need to rally around the Federal Reserve. Some people have suggested this might be because of some of the free speech being shut down on the anarchists in New York. They've just been stopping them and asking them questions and going to their house, I believe. Some really spooky stuff. I would suggest that this is about one thing and one thing only, and it is that the Federal Reserve is being exposed. People like Tom Davis, who are now coming our way. Obviously, Ron and Rand Paul, even Jim DeMint, most of the Senate, most of the House, even some Democrats coming our way to audit the Federal Reserve, whose charter is up next year. November 13th, Congress gets back in session. The senators will be back. You need to find out if your senators in your state have or have not signed on to hear the bill, Senate Bill 202. My friend Eric from out in San Francisco has set up a Facebook event page, and I'll try to pull that down while I'm talking and share that with you. To call in, and I know, phone calls are not always the most effective thing, but if we can flood the phone lines on November 13th, the day they get back in, especially these guys that have not signed on, and also go after, Harry Reid. If we can flood the phone lines on Audit the Fed phone bomb, and I'm trying to copy the link for you right now. Please join this group. There's 216 people in this group, in this event right now. We should have 20,000 people signed up for this Facebook event. So let me push this event. It's down there. There's the Facebook event for the Facebook link for the event page. And the 13th, we're just going to call in, and we're going to keep calling. We're going to another part of this is I'll be making a better video soon. I've got a video that I'm about to play, but excuse me. We have the round 2 of audit and the Fed. Let's Coin Together coming up November 24th. So November 13th, we start calling in to our senators, start writing articles, write an op-ed piece, contact the media, tell them, hey, we're going to be doing this Audit the Fed thing again. It's a lame duck session, obviously, but they start back the 13th. Let's get them built up. Thanksgiving is coming up. A lot of these politicians are going to be coming home to their districts, and they might be doing a campaign stop or two. Michael Heiss, yes, Michael is my good friend, and I was actually going to try to bring him up on the show tonight, and wasn't sure if I was even going to do the show. Originally, I planned to do this show at 8 o'clock before Matt Larson's show, which is typically at 9 here on Ron Paul Tribune. But he's running for office, and it's hard for him to be able to do that show weekly, as we only have 3 weeks till election. So he's out there busting his butt, and good for him for doing that. But a good friend of mine, Tracy Diaz, started up her show with Danny Penzella on the Blog Talk Radio. And if Talking Liberty is in here, she might be able to post a link for you. Somebody else might be able to post a link for you. So, yes, the Facebook event, I'm going to post it just one more time for you guys, because I really hope to see the numbers jump. I want you guys sharing it on your pages, if you could please do that, because we need to call in, and we cannot look like fools. We throw on these events. It's not good to throw on too many events, because you've got to be able to back up what you're saying. And if you throw on an event and nobody calls those phone lines, and we don't shut down those phone lines all day, maybe we could get Gary Franchi on the case, and everybody else on this thing, and the Fed and then the war rallies every 3 months. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Every 3 months is not that big of a deal. Not all the rallies have to be huge. This one is going to be a little smaller than what I did before. We're actually just going to be at the Fed doing a sine wave, trying to hand out some literature, making some cool videos. If people want to throw in the money down here in North Carolina, we might try to bring Jordan Page back, because we did have him down here, I think, 4 years ago, in 2008 at the Fed, and it was just incredible. That was the first time I met Jordan, and he was playing on the back of a pickup truck, and the windows at the Federal Reserve, from the sound of the guitar and the amplifier, were just shaking with Jordan Page, you know, playing the Pendulum and all the great tunes that he plays. So the link, once again, last time I'm posting it, is right there. So do what you can, man. Spread the word. The End the Fed thing has got to really take off. You're going to have from the 13th to the 24th to the rally, and that is the key time, because once they get back from Thanksgiving, they won't be there very long in December, and we need to get this heard, because if Senate Bill 202 is not heard, then the House bill goes out the door with the new Congress, and we're going to have to get another audit the Fed bill through the House, then all the way through the Senate again. With that said, I guess I will hold off on playing the video for a second, because I know some folks wanted to talk about the false flag attack, and yes, it was a false flag attack. This is not a conspiracy theory. Not that conspiracy theories are wrong, but they are very hard to prove to the public that they are accurate. This is an FBI sting operation, and you should be calling into your talk radio shows, write an op-ed piece about this, get on some blogs. Find your local Tea Party guys. Make sure they realize, hey, you see what they're doing now, and blame it on Obama, because Obama is the guy that is the president right now, and the FBI ran this sting in New York City to scare people, to scare you. That's what it is. It's fear-based politics, and this is politics. What they're doing, that is politics. When they do a false flag event on the Federal Reserve. Somebody posted a great meme on Facebook today. Federal Reserve, or the FBI, disrupts intercepts a FBI false flag or something along those lines. I can't repeat it, but it was pretty funny. The FBI, stopping their own attack that they were setting up. And when that's the case, that is a false flag. So if anybody out there that you're trying to reach out to and inform them about false flags and other false flags that have taken place, get on it right now while this story is hot. It's still hot off the presses. Let people know. When a false flag event is when your own government sets up an attack. Now, they didn't go through with the attack. They stopped the attack. They used it as a sting to catch one guy, just one guy. Now, you really think that they needed to catch this one 22-year-old guy that bad? Or were they trying to make the End the Fed movement look like we're in bed with Al-Qaeda? That's what they're doing. They've called us racist. What are we? We're racist. We're drug addicts. We're liberals. And now we're with Al-Qaeda. Go talk to your local Tea Party. Get involved with these guys. And they will understand that, no, these guys aren't with Al-Qaeda. They're not liberals. They're not, douchebags. These guys are the future. So, with that said, I'm going to go to my last video of the day and send this over to you, Yoan. My voice is getting a little tough here. No guests to lean on, and no breaks. Well, a couple breaks. Here you go. Let's hear my little promo for the phone bomb, and yes, that video right there. Here, I'll post it again. Oh, it says don't it says don't spam it. It's right up here, the last comment that I made. Oh, that's Facebook. Sorry, my friend. Sorry, my friend. Yes, that's quite a problem if that's a Facebook. Okay, here you go. That should work. And make your own promo video for these things. I know Yoan down here is helping me run the show. He's doing an awesome event. He's setting things up down there in Jacksonville. He's taking control. If if you think you can do it, do it. Get out there. There doesn't have to be one leader. 5 people can set up an event in one town, and everybody is at the same place. Y'all come together.
Hey y'all, quick update from Chuck's Garage. We got this phone bomb going on. We're going to when they get back in a session here after the election, November 13th. A friend of mine from out in California, he started a thing. He wants to have everybody call in for Senate Bill 202 and try to get Harry Reid to hear that. So we're going to do another In the Fed thing as well. That In the Fed is going to be on the 24th due to the 22nd being Thanksgiving this year. And so that'll be coming up. We're going to do ours more like a sine wave this time. I hope everybody comes out to Charlotte, 350 or 530 East Trade Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to be doing our In the Fed thing and having some fun. But what we got going on with this phone bomb, people are coming back into session, the senators, and we need to find out which senators we need to call the most to get this support going. Obviously, we're going to go after Harry Reid, but we need to just shut down their phones, man. We need to blow their phones up, man, for a couple days there. I mean, we got the 13th all the way to the 24th, so I say we hammer them all that time, and let's also try to write up some articles, get some newspaper talking about it. Get it up in the newspapers, and also, find out which senators that might actually end up supporting this. Let's call them. Let's try to arrange meetings with them. Okay? In your state, you might be able to arrange a meeting. We're going to try to arrange a meeting with Kay Hagan here in our state. And like I'm always saying, man, the only way you get politicians to respect you is you got to cause them pain. Not physical pain, political pain. If they know that you're going to primary them, if they know that you're going to support somebody else other than them, that's what they respect. It's the only thing that they respect. Because that's what the other folks are doing, okay? That's what the unions are doing. That's what, Big Agro's doing. That's what the Wall Street's doing. And guess what? Those guys don't go knock on doors. They might pay some people to do it, but when it comes to grassroots, there ain't nobody like us. We are the revolution. So let's get our bill heard, man. Let's force Harry Reid into it. He might not do it. I understand that. He's not up for election for another 4 years. But here's the kicker. We can make them look like a fool if they don't. Okay? And we can tell every Democrat or Republican that ain't on board or whoever's not on board, look, you don't get on board with this, you don't pressure Harry Reid to let this bill be heard, then we're coming for you, and you've got to go. Bye-bye. We're done with you. We need to audit this Federal Reserve. We need to audit the Pentagon as well. So, check out the Facebook. I'm going to put the link at the bottom here in the description for the Facebook event. And on the 13th, I believe it's Tuesday, when they come back into session, let's light up the phones. Let's let them hear it. Let's let them have it. Also, I want to say that, anybody out there who's a good writer, okay, if you're able to write, let's write. You're able to get together, have a meeting, have your little Ron Paul meeting for your End the Fed rally coming up on the 24th. Get together, make some signs, maybe write some articles. Get those articles out there. Maybe if some people get some articles out there before we actually do the phone call thing, and I would say this is 10, 11 days leading up to the End the Fed thing, and Thanksgiving's coming up, man. Hey, look, get some information. Take it to your family members. Tell them to get on board. Explain to them. Don't yell at them like, they're stupid and they're crazy and, all that. Do what works, man. Whatever works for you. I ain't going to tell you what to do. Just, let's get this thing rolling. Let's join up with my buddy Mike out there in San Francisco, who's starting this event. Also, my other buddy, I'm mixing their names up now, but my buddy Mike, who's in Philly, doing the End the Fed round 2. I'll be making some videos about that. We'll be having round 2 here in Charlotte, and this is a great way to lead up to it, man. Let's get the buzz going. Let's get the phone calls going. If we don't get this bill heard, we're going to have to get it all the way back through the House again, and we will do that. We will. We will get it back through the House again. So,
Election's coming up. Take care of business. After that, when they come back into session, let's talk. let's let them know. You know, so that's the deal. This is Chuck, your man, out here in the garage. Get on it, folks. Boots on the ground, boots on the phone. Peace. I love that boots on the ground stuff from T-Mart. But, you know, that's a simple little video. Boots on the phone, that's right, Yohan. Put the boots on the phone. Boots on the Fed. That's what I called my In the Fed rally, is boots on the Fed, boots on the phone, boots on the ground. Strap them up, man. Lace them up all the way up to the top, and let's get out there, man, because it's a war for your freedom. Again, I'm going to post my Facebook down here for anybody. If you can write, I've got a website called constitutionalwar.org, and I should probably post the website down there for that too. I'm getting kind of tired posting all these links though. Boots at your county GOP meetings, absolutely, and the Fed, absolutely. Keep doing what you do, T-Mont. That's absolutely right. Hopefully I'll be able to get T-Mont up here on my show. I've brought T-Mont up here to Charlotte, I believe, twice now, and me and my friend Nicole Revels were able to bring him up to meet Ron Paul for the first time. I believe only time, actually, that he met Ron Paul. I got to give you guys a disclaimer here for the video. I don't believe it'll show up on YouTube. Yohan is telling me, disclaimer, if you put your boots on your phone, it may break. Ron Paul Tribune is not responsible. Very good, John. So, yeah, there I am on Facebook again. You know, that's my link. I've posted the event link. Please join up. Please friend me. If you can write and you want to write articles for my website, I would love to have writers for my website. I would love to hook you up with, you know, other people that would, you know, if you want to write and you're looking for people that can help you out with YAL, if you want to get involved, if you're younger and you're on college campus, say you're going to college right now and you want to set up a YAL at your college, I can help you out with that. So, with that being said, we're coming to the end of the show here. If there's any questions, I'd love to take your questions. CampaignForLiberty.org, absolutely. That's, you know, get on board with Campaign for Liberty. A lot of people were upset with Jesse Benton and also John Tate. Hey, right now, Ron Paul is running Campaign for Liberty. So go to Campaign for Liberty. Ron Paul's running it now. How did I get to be this awesome? Well, it wasn't very easy. After many hours in the Facebook, I guess, John's taking off. Take it easy, John. I appreciate it. Get better, buddy. It's okay, man. Get rest and get well, man. Take it easy. I'm not that awesome. I'm not the best guy to be doing this stuff, truthfully. I do my best. It's not very hard. My next show will be next Wednesday. I'll be here every Wednesday, and I will be here every Wednesday at 10 o'clock unless there is, you know, other circumstances that are going to keep me at a campaign rally, something like that. You know, you know, you don't make phone calls for politicians at 10 o'clock at night. So, yes, 10 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday, right after the Matt Larson show. And I'm guessing that hopefully Matt wins his election, and hopefully he will be up. Make sure you post on all the Facebook pages. Absolutely. And I'm going to start a event for my show, which I'll just move the date every Wednesday when the show pops up, right before midnight. I'll move the date of the show to the next week. That's what the Fish Sisters do. I want to promote them, Soraya and Godesha Fish. I don't even know if I'm saying your name right, girls, but the Liberty Chat team, they are awesome. Awesome. Great. Thank you, Eric. Very good. Down there in the chat. Check that out. Check their show out. It's usually every Tuesday night. I want to say at 8 o'clock, and then my good friend Tom Garcia's show is on at 9. The Fish Sisters have been doing their show Mondays because of some circumstances keeping them away from doing it on Tuesdays. But next week, I believe Tom will be doing his show. Check it out. That's hyperinflation preparation and everything you need to know about guns, gold, guts, God, glory. Yeah. Tom knows how to do it. And Matt Larson, you know, go Ron Paul, peace. I mean, obviously a great guy. And thank you all for coming out to my first show. 36 people was in here at the peak of it. I think that, hey, I couldn't be happier. So, peace out. I am Chuck Suter. Go Rand Paul and go to your GOP conventions and become a delegate and get on the phone November 13th and get to your local Federal Reserve branch November 24th. And, you know, if you got Liberty candidates out there, make sure you vote on the 6th of November. I believe it's the 6th. So do what you do, man. Hope to see you guys back next week. I'm going to have some guests up, and for now, I'm signing off. Peace.